There were many things I didn't like about the Star Wars prequels, but one thing that stuck out to me was the emotions are bad Vulcan mentality of the Jedi Order. When characters in your movie say joy, rage, sorrow, the things that make us human, are unacceptable and you have to get rid of those things, I find that puzzling. Look at Batman. He experienced fear one time, and he's not evil. Look at Joey Tribbiani. He had a whole lot of sex today, and he's not corrupt. And don't give me that they're allowed to have sex, just not form emotional attachments, hoo-ha, because a 4-year-old isn't going to understand the difference when they're recruited into the Order. Besides explosions and spaceships and neat weapons and bizarre aliens, what connects me to a movie like Star Wars are the people. If the people are boring because they don't have joy, rage, sorrow, qualities that make a character more than a cardboard cutout, then why am I watching them? You've got boring characters you expect us to not only spend hours watching but also care about? That's a tall order. I'm not sure why George Lucas wanted the Jedi to be this way. There's evidence he deliberately wanted the Jedi to be flawed, probably so he can easily put Anakin on the path to the dark side. Their inaction about slavery in the Outer Rim speaks volumes to someone who was raised as a slave in the Outer Rim. But these movies were inspired by 1930s heroes like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers, and those guys had personalities, which you can't say for most of the prequel era Jedi. You may say Yoda tried to teach Luke to let go of his emotional attachments in Empire, so it makes sense the Jedi teach letting go in the prequels. Maybe, but I have a different read on that. I think Luke was a special case. Yoda was on the verge of death, so he wanted to make sure he got Luke ready to save the universe, which, in his opinion, meant Vader had to die. Yoda doesn't believe in redemption. Yoda has his planetary force voyeurism that he used to watch Luke, so he probably knew about the other survivors of the Purge. But in the event of his death, he probably saw sending Luke to one of them as just as good as dooming the galaxy. Ahsoka might immediately spill the beans about who Vader is, or if Yoda tells Luke to go to another master, they may not like someone coming to their hiding spot and endangering them. Yoda doesn't want any other surviving Jedi messing up this kid's chances of killing Vader. I think the idea was that Luke needed to shed his attachments to Han and Leia because if he was willing to let his friends die, he'd be willing to kill his own father, which Yoda saw as essential to save the galaxy. I don't think this was the bread and butter of every Jedi's teachings. At least, I don't believe that was in George Lucas's mind when making the original trilogy. Look at what Obi-Wan has to teach Luke in A New Hope. He doesn't say anything about letting go of his friends or family. He has to learn to let go of seeing and experiencing the world through the 5 senses he's known all his life and take the leap of faith, but that's not the same thing. You could argue Obi-Wan didn't think killing Vader would come down to Luke, though with how hard he's making the sell on Tatooine, I'd say that was on his mind even then. The more likely scenario is George Lucas came up with the idea that all Jedi must let go of their friends and family and emotions when making the prequels, because that was there in Empire Strikes Back. But looking at Empire in isolation, ignoring what came later, I think Luke's training was not the norm for the other Jedi. All of this is moot since the prequels show us this is the norm for Jedi, and my opinion on a 40-year-old movie won't change that. But I thought it was an interesting idea to keep in mind the next time you watch Empire. That's it for now, so I'll catch you guys in the future. May the Force be with you.